come check out this leg day. I guarantee you've never done this before. I say that because there's at least one exercise you've probably never seen before. One of these exercises, until I posted it, I don't think existed on YouTube. This is one of the 2 leg days that I currently have programmed for me and those in my training groups. I'm currently running an upper lower off program that I've called Daddy. When life is running smooth and it's not crazy hectic, I like to run a 5 or even a 6-day split that I have in my Ogusdaily training team. We start the workout with hamstrings, curls, because that's the area that usually most people are lacking from a physique development standpoint. Then we have this new S-tier hamstring exercise that a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's way too much. And feel free to say that. But granted, I have 4 kids, I homeschool, and I got time to set it up and take it apart. It doesn't take that long, okay? Then we have a very fun quad isolation exercise that you also probably, I'm 99% sure that 99% of you haven't ever seen it. So that's cool. Then we have some single leg glute work, and then calves, and the good old abs. One quick tip before we hop in. Guys, I just want to say that tracking your workouts matters more than your actual workouts. Did you know that? The person who goes online and finds a random workout plan but meticulously tracks their progress while running it will probably make, I'm actually very, very sure that he or she will make more progress than the person who meticulously picks these superior optimal exercises, lays out this perfect theoretical workout plan, but never actually tracks their lifts. If you want the best workouts and programming to maximize hypertrophy in the short and long term, now if you want the best workouts and the best programming to maximize hypertrophy, I just reopened the 7-day free trial to my online training groups. Check out the links below, pick your team, and get on board. Or if you want training and nutrition fully customized to you for the first time in a year, I'm looking for 5 to 10 men looking to shred fat, build muscle, and get in the best shape of their life. The application form will be below. If you feel to try this workout, feel free to critique this workout. Just keep in mind, everything is contextual. Everything is a part of the journey, meaning this mesocycle, the exercises in this workout are dependent on the exercises in the other leg day of this week, which are dependent on the exercises and everything we've done for the past 6 to 12 months leading up to this point, right? We cycle through exercises as we milk them dry. As we milk variations dry, we move on to different variations or different exercises throughout the year. And we're never really doing like every single one of our top S tier exercises at the same time. That can sometimes happen. And then eventually you got to throw it back in the B tier, the A tier, the B tier, the A tier, sometimes the C tier, but you're never doing just S tier, everything, all these brand new extra, except for this workout. The workout's kind of full of S tier exercises. Anyways, let's just jump right in, guys. We start with seated leg curls for the hamstrings, 2 hard sets of 4 to 8 reps. I've been enjoying using a belt as well as riding the lower end of that rep range up with 2.5 pound jumps almost every single week. And I'll usually hit 5 or 6 reps on that first set. And as long as I'm doing that, I just go ahead and raise the weight. If I start hitting 4 reps on that first set, I stay there until I hit 5. And that's how I ride the lower end of the 4 to 8 rep range window. I've got the belt on through the middle, not touching the seat pads, so no gym damage. Staying super on top. You'll watch a lot of Gen Z or TikTokers lose slack in the hamstrings with a posterior pelvic tilt, lower back is rounding. You want to stay so tight. Like you want to get punched. You're ready to be punched or stabbed from every angle in terms of your torso. Like it should almost be fucking exhausting how tight and stable you're remaining. But that is how I like to execute it and how I typically recommend others perform this variation. And I primarily use 2 variations of the seated leg curl. One with your back just up against the seat rest, typically pushing against it, but not necessarily shooting your hips up, if that makes sense. And the belt can help with that. And then the other variation is what you see me doing here is, taking my hips to, about or a little more than 90 degrees of flexion. And, some people will lean forward more than that and they'll kind of just be flossing their hamstrings, so to speak, losing a bit of the length for their hamstrings because they've got that posterior pelvic tilt. And there could be a time and a place to use that exercise. It probably just wouldn't be on the top of my list for hamstring hypertrophy. I've really been enjoying this technique, using this rep range lately, and continuing reps even as the ROM starts to decrease. Next up, we have the Smith Machine Somersault Squat from Joe Daniels. I think he first put these up back in 2010 or 2011. You could find it on YouTube. But 250 here. I did 245 last week. Progressed on these just like pretty much every other exercise. I love these because they're very just deep knee flexion focused. Single joint. I'm still working on keeping that bar. What I ideally would want would be for me to grab the sides and for that bar to not move and continuously clash against the machine. So there's things you can do with bands and stuff so that it stays in that position, or you can just get lucky, or just say F everyone and you keep on making these sounds as it clicks the sides each and every rep. It's up to you. My wife somehow made it so that it wasn't too much of a nuisance. But yeah, ideally grabbing the sides just for better stability and control. I like to either use a wide grip or whatever feels comfortable that particular day. I got squat shoes on. You can see how old these bad boys are. Do you see what's happening to them? Yeah, I think these might be the same ones that I squatted 500 in back in like 2014. I think these are the same ones. I've had these for that damn long. Great exercise. You can do, 2 really hard work sets if you're already accustomed to this exercise. Otherwise, you could get a little more practice in by doing 3 sets, and then eventually, you can get a lot of work done with just 2 really hard sets. Now I'm setting up my next exercise, which I posted a few days ago, and it didn't get a lot of engagement or reach, so barely anyone has seen it, which is unfortunate for them. It's got mixed reviews. It's got mixed feedback. Some people are like, I can't do all that, and it makes sense, especially for women. Like, it requires you to pick up the 45-degree back extension machine and transport it towards the Smith machine, and it's like a 50 to 70 pound apparatus. It's not the lightest thing. What I do have is I've got like 3 step ups and then a bumper. So sorry, 3 step ups, a bumper on top, in the front and in the back. So it's a total of like 12 step ups. I don't know if that's the right term, but those individual boosters, you can call them. So I've got 12 boosters, 2 long step ups, place the 45 on top. The bar is pretty much aligned with my arms and shoulders for most of the movement. Guys, this is the true Smith machine 45-degree back extension. If you look up Smith machine 45-degree back extension, you will not find this exercise besides the one that I uploaded. I looked so hard. I've tried to I haven't yet, but I'll contact Brett Contreras and ask him if he's ever seen these anywhere before or seen them posted. But these are incredible. Guys, you could do these such that it feels like your hamstrings are about to tear, like rip off completely. It's almost scary.
For Brett to respond to you.
Huh?
I'm waiting for Brett to I saw you tag him.
I'll text him. That's my friend Jen. She's awesome. She runs my VIXEN online women's training program, and they have this exercise on their other leg day, but she decided to try it out because it's really not too feasible for most women to set this up by themselves. Like, it is practically impossible. But I was here, and she got to enjoy it, and I think she really liked it. And if it was already set up, she, and I'm sure most women, would absolutely prefer to do this exercise. And so far, I've had probably 4, maybe 5 other women hit this, work in with me, etc. over the last 5 or 6 weeks, including my wife, and they've all been like, dude, it shits on the regular one. I did 3 sets of these. I call these August 45s, or the 45 August. You can call it the True Smith Machine back extension, which again, Google it, YouTube it, you'll not find it besides the one that I just posted. You just notice that I'm using the second notch on the hip pad, and I've got a balance pad underneath my feet that gives me just the perfect amount of ROM. It's the perfect setup for me. If you're wondering what that balance pad does, is it gets me higher in the air and gives me more ROM, because I bottom out against the actual 45 machine itself. Not necessarily at the bottom of the ground or the bottom of the Smith machine. And that's why I had to raise it up off the floor so that it doesn't bottom against the bottom of the Smith machine, not the floor, but the bottom of the Smith machine, the safeties that you can't like actually take off. So this was the third set. And you know, often the first rep is kind of clunky, which you saw, but oh my gosh, it's hard to describe unless you do these yourself. You get a beautifully perfect concentric and eccentric. With heavy barbell 45s, you really feel like you just get a great concentric. You can barely control the damn thing to the floor. Like the eccentric almost doesn't exist. And then if the eccentric does exist, you're not too concentrically challenged. You're like, me. So it's a beautiful exercise. If you can transport your 45 around the gym into the Smith machine, it could be worth it for you if you're the type that makes excuses like you don't have time, etc. Again, I always tell people, I have 4 kids and I homeschool them. Since I know 10% of people are going to complain, oh, but you're using multiple pieces of equipment. Okay, and explain a Smith machine flat press, explain a Smith machine incline press, or a Smith machine glute bridge. It's using the exact same number of major pieces of gym equipment. What's cool about this is someone can still actually use that 45 degree between your sets. First of all, invite them in. They'll think you're a freaking genius. They'll be like, holy shit, that was the best hamstring exercise I've ever done. You guys remember when people used to shit on dumbbell seal rows? They're like, oh my God, you got to put a bench on top of boxes or on top of elevation. And then, 5 years later, they started making literal seal row apparati. You like that? Is that grammatically correct? They started making legit seal row setups and benches because of how popular that exercise became. People realized like, holy shit, this is incredible. And that's why companies are starting to make machines dedicated to this exact setup. And again, 1 or 2 minute setup, 1 or 2 minute breakdown, depending on how far you got to carry some things. It was not that much of a hassle. I understand if women just are unable to lift that 45 degree and set this bad boy up. The next best swap that I would recommend would be dumbbell 45 degree back extensions, and as you build up your strength with holding 1 or more dumbbells, what I recommend is getting a heavy band, placing it around your back, and helping you carry some of the load, because typically 45 degree back extensions are notoriously built not for loading. Like they're built for holding a plate against your chest, not holding heavy dumbbells or a barbell. So a band can really help with that. If you're still not sold on this Smith machine 45 degree back extension, yeah, you could do dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts, barbell stiff leg deadlifts, or you could just do the barbell 45 degree back extension. But unfortunately, most gyms, their 45s, if they have one, they're usually not built for loading too well. For people of all different heights, for women and even men. So men can typically fit better into these machines, assuming they're loading with a plate to the chest. But once you try a barbell, you start to realize, like, wow, I'm not getting that much ROM, especially if I'm using a 45-pound plate. I get a little bit more if I'm using a 25, but it's like if I want that ideal ROM, I'm left using 5s or freaking 10s. And even then, I'm not getting as much ROM as with that Smith machine. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with doing the 45 degree hyper with a barbell. It's just, in fact, I ran it for 1 or 2 mesocycles prior to, doing it with the Smith machine. But I definitely prefer the Smith machine for so many different reasons. I'm not writing off completely. I'll come back to it in the future, and I'm sure one day I'll do, 225 pounds for sets of 5 to 8, and then maybe even one day 245, 255 pounds for sets of 5 to 8 with the barbell. But I think for the majority of the time over these next 2 years, if I am doing a 45 degree hyper, it will be with the Smith machine. And also keep in mind, I'm typically regularly also doing dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts on my other leg day. So moving on, you could tell how excited I am about that 45 August, that true Smith machine 45 degree back extension. It's kind of like a no-brainer exercise. For those who love lifting, you're probably like, wow, I'm surprised that I haven't already done that or thought of that myself. right? We've been lifting for freaking 20 years and we're like, wow, I still have never done this exercise in a Smith machine. I've done everything in a Smith machine. I haven't done this. So, yeah, those who are like really into higher level bodybuilding are going to be like, wow, that's awesome. And then those who kind of like lift just to maintain like the presence of the word gym in their Instagram bio, they're probably going to be like, yeah, I ain't doing that. I mean, just admit it. You're lazy, okay? You're lazy, or you're afraid to try new things, or you are like anti-thrust exercises for some weird reason, even though thrusting is like the most masculine thing like biologically possible. I just already know someone's going to take it incredibly personal. Let me know exactly why they are not going to do that exercise. Like I asked, like I give a shit. So next exercise is the Smith machine reverse lunge. Keeping that front foot in place while I'm lunging back with the back foot each and every rep. This is different from a split squat where both legs are stationary the entire time. Last mesocycle, actually no, 2 mesocycles ago, we were doing Smith machine Bulgarian split squats, and we had those programmed for like 2 or 3 mesocycles. We worked our way up to crazy weights. I think I was doing like 310 or 315 for a set of like 7 or 8. And then I started to get into 320 and 325, and the reps started to drop down as I started to get like some sort of hip tweak, along with kids started to sort of mess up the other Smith machine. Me and my buddy at the gym, we realized this, that it was started acting funny in the higher zones. It started to get weird. It started to get weird, so that's why I dropped it. And when I did bring back my single leg glute work, I've been doing it on this fat bar Smith machine at my gym, and it's been feeling great. And I actually prefer most of my work on this fat Smith machine bar more than the skinny Smith machine bar, which sucks because the lighting is freaking incredible with the skinny Smith machine bar. But these are the sacrifices you must make when your goal is maximum hypertrophy. So we did 2 sets of 5 to 8 reps, and I believe I did 8 reps and then 7 reps on the second set. Took nice 3-minute rests between legs. Oh, that's so much rest. Like no one stronger than me has ever said that. No one stronger than me has ever said, why would you rest so much? It's always someone who's like, who one doesn't do this exercise, but 2, if they did, they'd be hitting like 95 pounds. There's a reason why I need to rest that long. It's because we're using significant weight, and we got to use significant weight partially because we rested long enough so that we could progress properly for every set and every exercise we do. Yes. Please don't take that personal. It's not a personal thing. I'm just spitting facts. Okay. So, felt really, 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 really freaking good, which is great because 1 month ago my hips were a little bit tweaked up from spending 2 or 3 mesos on Bulgarian split squats, along with the other Smith machine starting to act up from all the kids abusing it, doing their incline Smith presses facing the wrong direction and then slamming it each and every set like they just hit a lifetime PR of a 600-pound deadlift or a 500-pound squat. Like, yeah, that's when you can slam it. But when you slam shit each and every set, it's like, come on, kids, don't you know it? Like, you're putting wear and tear on these machines that you claim you love. But it's a learning thing because I used to do the same exact thing when I was a kid, and even hell, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, But one thing now, you will never see me intentionally slam or drop stuff because I found myself at this gym for 10 years now. And if I keep this up, I might be here for the next 10 years. So I take such good care of this equipment. It honestly is, it's kind of embarrassing. Next up, calves. Just 3 sets of calf raises, 4 to 8 reps. This was on the menu. I've got mats underneath my shoulders, really focusing on
3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippis in the stretch, hit a nice strong concentric, not worrying about necessarily getting all the way up, and then just crushing it, adding like 2.5 pounds per week, pretty much each and every single week. And my calves have been growing, and people can say, "Oh, it's all genetic." It's like anyone who says that as an excuse, again, you know how I feel about excuses. So I'm basically 20 years in the game, and in my opinion, I am catching a second wind with my calf training. For the past 3 or 4 mesocycles, I've been doing just standing calf raises, no seated calf raises. I've been progressing, therefore, with my standing calf raises at a greater pace than I would have otherwise. And it's been exciting as hell. At my other Gold's gym, they've got like a hoist standing calf raise. And I've been progressing that thing like crazy. Right now I'm not programmed for legs at that gym, but that's usually where I like to go to hit legs because they have a really good hack squat. A couple other things. I like their calf raises there as well. But I am excited about calf growth. Very excited. That sounds funny. That sounds silly. But I'm excited to grow these bad boys over this and next year. So next up, we've got some abs. And if you've never done these before, you owe it to yourself to try these. Like, you can get incredibly stable with these. Much more stable than your typical kneeling cable crunch, whether you're facing towards or away the cable stack. With these, you can also just fully extend your legs, and you'll find that just your own body weight along with the proper height for where the cable's pulling from, you have a lot of stability to go against, and you could really crush it on this bad boy. So I think on my next set I did usually I do these with my legs completely extended. You can do whatever the hell you want. But my God, good set, good workout, great day. Second set of these, man, these felt so good. If you've never tried these, do yourself a favor and give these a go. All the time I see guys walk into the gym, and typically they will do 45-pound plate oblique crunches. They will do that little like ab slider thing where you slide back and forth. People love doing those. Maybe they'll do just some knee ups, but proper ab training is surprisingly uncommon. Like, you rarely see people really hit their abs in a way where you're like, oh yeah, I'd sign off on that. Like, as a bodybuilding coach, as a physique coach, I give that a thumbs up. With ab training, you want that spinal flexion. You want the muscles that you're targeting, that you actually want to grow, being properly worked with load, tracked, and progressed. Here's another highly stable, solid ab exercise, and ab crunch, a cable crunch at the pull down station. I got some of the homies in the back, and I wasn't actually doing this exercise to hit it. I was filming one of my tutorials for a future mesocycle for my training groups. But got some of the homies in the back. It's always good when you got like 2 or more of the homies. Today, everyone was here. Freaking all the damn homies were here. Kirk in the back, he has such a beautiful voice. He could play guitar. I've watched him in concert once or twice, and it was awesome. He's a really great guy. Other guy that was just there, Chad. He's freaking awesome. I love him. We have some great chats. Everyone was here. Cody, Dennis, Justin, Chris. Good times. Good times at the system. If you go to the system, you know what I mean.
So thanks for tuning in, guys. We're towards the end of this workout. Well, the workout's done. I'm back home now. I've had a couple of meals. I apologize. I don't apologize for not making videos. I am very busy with my kids. We homeschool. I'm home all day with them. I love this life that I'm living right now. And if and when I post these videos, I appreciate when you guys do enjoy and watch them. My goals are still the same. I train in the gym to build as much muscle as possible within the constraints of my life, my lifestyle, my circumstances, working with and around, family. Granted, things work out really well, so it's not like I'm sacrificing time away from family to go gym. Shit just works perfectly for us, at least. And things can be better. Goals wise for bodybuilding, 2026 WMBF Worlds might be, the long-term goal here. World champion, whether that's middle or lightweight, would be cool. If it's lightweight, I'll be battling against Dirk, which would be insane because he's the world champion. So that would be crazy. I think he's doing 2026 Worlds. But maybe I'd be a mil away. Who knows? Maybe we'll just drink water to intentionally not get destroyed by him. So, but yeah, that's how that's going. This was our current, leg day, my current leg day, based on what's, appropriate at this moment, for which gym I am currently training at more often, with the equipment we have, so on and so forth. Programming sort of works that way, right? You program towards the exercises you have done in the past, take out the things that feel stale, put in the things that you have lots of room to grow with, and milk it out. And don't drop it until you've really milked it out. Too often we're jumping and just hopping from one cool new exercise you saw on the gram to a new one. Oh, these flaps are really working. I'm gonna hop on those. Like, that's great if you're going to stick with them for 4, 8, 12, 16 weeks straight so you can really milk it. Otherwise, have that fun day with them, but don't do them for a couple weeks and then stop doing them and then bring them back like a month later for a couple weeks. Like, pick your exercises, stick with them for 8, 12, 16, 20 weeks and really progress with those exercises until you're like, wow, this is feeling rusty, or it's starting to give me unnecessary pain or joint issues. Then bring in something that doesn't cause issues, that feels stimulative and nice and fresh. That's programming. And I do programming in a group training setting with my VIXEN, Daddy, and Ogusdaily training groups. We've got hundreds of guys and girls running these training programs with me, running my Daddy program with me, doing this 40 upper lower. Links are down below. I am also accepting 5 to 10 online training clients this summer, like I did last summer. Had an amazing time. I like to stay in the loop with real life people on a regular basis. So that's why starting last year, I was like, each year I'm gonna take on 5 to 10 new one-on-one coaching clients. So last year I did that, had a blast working with, finally, I'm working with adults, men typically in their 30s with kids. And it's funny because, I took a long hiatus from coaching. I coached from, 2014 to maybe more like professionally, being paid. I coached somewhere from 2013 or 14 to like 2016, 17. Took quite a few years off as I started to, scale into other things. But there's something about one-on-one coaching with someone that like keeps you in the loop with how an individual human works, with their particular set of circumstances, their life, their schedule, and it's extremely rewarding, especially working with individuals that are now, family men, people in their 30s and stuff like that. It was cool, working with teenagers when I was, in my early to mid 20s. But now working with, older guys with, families, it's even more rewarding. So if you're interested in that, like, there'll probably be a link below. It's coaching.mattauguste.com. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video, probably next month. Love you guys. Peace out.